Okay, well, good day, everyone. I have not done this for a while, but I thought I'd try some streaming of my mapping on a Sunday morning. So let's get started. Let me actually start from the beginning. Hey folks, good morning. I'm gonna do a little bit of streaming on this nice Sunday. So, streaming is my mapping in JOSM, and today I'm going to do a little bit of tiger cleanup and a little bit of sidewalks. So even though I live in a pretty large urban area, Salt Lake City, which is overall pretty well mapped thanks to our small but dedicated community here, there are still pockets that still have a lot of original roads from the Tiger import that haven't really been looked at very much. And also, I myself am a big fan of detailed sidewalk mapping, so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm just going to get an area, I like to download an entire area between that is encapsulated within a few major roads. So this would be a good little neighborhood to do. So I'm downloading this data, and immediately you see that thanks to the Tiger paint style, I can see that all these sort of orange, brown, yellow cased haloed roads are roads that have not been that still have the original Tiger tags on them. I'll actually show you how that paint style, where that paint style is. I don't know if it's enabled by default anymore, but here it is. Tiger reviewed no. So this is what it looks for. It looks for the Tiger colon reviewed equals no tag, and it colors the road based on it adds this casing or this halo based on the existence of that tag. So every road that still has the Tiger reviewed no will get this brown yellow halo. So you see that there's a lot of that here. It doesn't necessarily mean that the roads are not looked at by mappers since then, but at least it means that mappers have not removed that tag. And mappers tend to remove them by different criteria. I tend to remove them just when I looked at them and on aerial imagery and added the details that I think are necessary, basically alignment mostly, and the road type. So let's work our way down from the northwest corner of this download. So let's start here. See that there's a little bit of alignment that we can do. And then what I'll do is actually break this out and delete. I usually delete all the Tiger tags, making sure that everything is all the information in the Tiger tags is captured in the remaining tags, which in this case is the case. So I usually do a few at a time if they're small streets, and then upload. So I'm deleting these Tiger tags. Here though, also we have name_1, which is discouraged. I usually do alt name instead, which is the preferred way to map map alternative names. So here in the Salt Lake area, or in Utah in general, streets often have actual names like you're used to, in this case South Sunnydale Drive, but they'll also have a number that makes it easy to navigate. So you'll 2860 East, which means that they're between 28 and 2900 East, which so the major roads are usually indicated by numbers. So people will know there's 27th East, which is a major street here, and then there's the next major street is, oh, that's actually the freeway. But people will know generally where to look if you talk about sort of in this case 2860 East, but the common name will still be Sunnydale Drive. I'm going to ignore these two. I could do alt name prefix and alt name full. Actually, let me alt. But I feel like that's a little bit too much detail, so I tend to just kind of delete those. This would be the complete way of doing it, but I mean, I feel like this is a little bit redundant. I mean, people have different opinions about this, but in this case, going forward, I'm just gonna remove those tags. Again, remove the Tiger tags. So then once we've done these three, I'm gonna look at the sidewalk situation. So this one has no well, there's a little bit of sidewalk here. So let's add that. Don't exactly know where it starts. I can look at some Esri imagery. It's usually a little bit more tree cover free, and it's a little older vintage generally, but you see a little bit of sidewalk here, but it's not continuous. So what I tend to do is footway, and then it's a type of sidewalk, and then I tend to do, when it's here, I tend to do a no exit. Oops, that is not a preset, is it? Because technically, I mean, you have nowhere to go as a pedestrian when you're here. You can cross the road, but I think it's technically illegal in most places. So you see this a lot where sidewalks are just not continuous. It's really annoying if you're a pedestrian, but I also don't really know why that happens so much. You see it again here. Let me add this sidewalk as well, where the sidewalk just kind of, oh, let's not miss the crossing with that service road there. Okay, I'm going to actually do a filter for land use, so I don't have to deal with all those intersections with land use that often are very close to the sidewalks. So I'm filtering those out. At least I can still see them, but I can't select them anymore. I can also completely hide them when I do this, but I like to still be able to see them. Okay, be careful not to miss any of those crossings with the service. So here again, it just ends footway, sidewalk. And then here actually there is I'm pressing Alt here to indicate that I want a new way rather than continuing the existing one. Because this is not a sidewalk. This is just a regular footway. And this is probably a building entrance, but I'm not going to assume. Okay. let me just edit this road here. So there was recently a discussion on the new community forum that talked about how to map sidewalks. It's always interesting to hear different people's opinions. A lot of the discussion was about whether to map sidewalks on as attributes, because you can do something like sidewalk both, or sidewalk no, or sidewalk left, right? And that's all totally fine. But if you have streets with that have sidewalks on some part of the road and not others, and it's all discontinuous, not non-continuous, this becomes a hassle because you have to split a lot, and also it becomes more difficult when sidewalks have different sort of access criteria. Some of them are really poorly maintained, and you couldn't use them as a wheelchair user, for example. Here again, I'll add a no exit. Oops, no exit. Yes, should probably find some way to show on screen what keyboard commands I'm using. Just because I'm skipping over a lot of that, and I realize that a lot of you might not be familiar with a lot of the JOSM keyboard shortcuts. Okay, so this is a lot easier to do in ID actually. Let me maybe show the difference, how that. So I'll finish this bit in JOSM. It's a little bit of a hassle to do these curved ones. You have a lot of that, as you can see, with all those cul-de-sacs and etc. Okay, so here the sidewalk stops again. Footway, sidewalk. So the reason they show up as thicker lines is also because of another map paint style that I have, I think. Lane and road attributes. Yes. So by default, this will show up as a thin green line. But because I have lane and road attributes, the paint style, this will show up as a thicker line. And what that does, that plugin, is basically it shows you in one pretty quickly the lane configuration that is defined. So if you, for example, if I were to add lanes equals 2 here, it will show up like that, which I find it's good support when you're doing lane mapping, but also if you just want to check if lanes are defined or not. I'm going to delete this now because it's not what I'm focusing on at the moment. I will check this road a little bit more and add and remove the tiger tags. You can see that it's split here because the name changes as it curves around. So here we have another case where we have name underscore 1, which I'm going to change to alt name. If I don't, then I try to upload. It will start giving me warnings like this, name underscore 1 warnings. And then it will tell me with this yellow outline that this road needs fixing. So I'm going to change this to alt name. I'm going to delete these two. Add a little bit more detail here. I think we're good to upload these first edits. I like to keep my change sets pretty small. Well, let me do the no exits here. Okay. So now I'll upload this first. So there's a bunch of warnings. I tend to ignore the warnings of stuff that I haven't directly edited. So this will see a lot because these sidewalks end right very close to the main roadway. So these I'll ignore because that's just the way it is. I can probably disable this warning because I get it a lot when I'm mapping sidewalks, but I tend to just kind of look at them still and ignore them mentally. So this is a name underscore 1, but this one belongs to 27th East, which is a road that I haven't really edited right now. So I'm ignoring that for the moment. But whenever I actually do work on this 27th East, which is this road here, I will take care of that. But right now, I'm not going to. Multiple white spaces in the value. Okay, I'm going to ignore that now as well. So I'm going to upload this. And then adding sidewalks, tiger checks. Excuse me. Imagery check, yes. Okay, so I'm uploading this. Then what I was going to show you is why this can be easier to do in ID. So let me open this road in OSM, so I can easily find that location. See, the sidewalks are not rendered yet, but they will be in a moment. So if I open this in ID now, instead, no, not logged in. Cleared my cookies last night. So if I were to delete this again, this is the one that I just painted or mapped, if you will. If I were to delete this again, and I was going to do this again in ID, press 2 to start a line. Oops. 2. I have some setting in Firefox that if I press any key, it will start finding instead of in the page. I have to find a way to turn that off. So what I'm doing here, and you can't see, of course, what I'm doing, but what I'm doing here is I'm pressing space to add the nodes, which makes it much quicker because I can just keep tracing the outline or the sidewalk here, and I don't have to click the mouse. And believe me, that is just quicker. So that's how I would do it in ID. And also in ID, it's a little bit easier generally to do things like crossings, right? Which I forgot to define here. So this is an unmarked crossing. So this is actually quite a few. This is a 2 tags, and it's not a preset in JOSM, but it is an ID. So it's really easy to add those. I'll add the no exit tags here. Exit, no exit, upload, redoing, sidewalk, upload. So I don't know, I might actually continue in ID doing this. Nah, I'll stick to the original plan. So of course now the changes are out of sync because I edited this stuff in JOSM. So what I'm going to do is update data. So now everything is in sync again. Okay, let's do a few more. We can find something fun to do. So what I tend to do if there's no sidewalk at all, maybe we can find an example. So if I were to split this road here, so there's no sidewalk at all here in this stretch. So what I sometimes do is do sidewalk equals no. So there's a positive sort of confirmation that there is no sidewalk, so that it's not just unknown, but it's actually known, but just not known that there's no sidewalks. Do that again here. I often split roads at intersections. It's easier for routing software to deal with roads that are split at intersections. It's not a big deal. I mean, what that paint style does, that road and lane attributes paint style, is that whenever you define sidewalk equals no, it automatically paints it as a 2-lane road for whatever reason, even though I haven't defined lanes. So that is just something I'm living with. Okay, so ugh, ugly. Okay. What I should have done before I split this is remove the or change the attributes. So now I have to select all these different segments that I just made and delete the attributes here. Okay, there we go. So this is a little ugly. I'm gonna. Okay, this is better. Okay, we can slowly see very slowly see the tiger halo, yellow-brown halo disappear. From this neighborhood. There's no sidewalks here either. So I'm moving a little bit quicker now because it's stuff that I've done before. I'm not going to explain what I do every time if I've done it before. Okay, so here's a little bit of alignment that I need to do. No sidewalks. How are all these people getting around? Of course, they jump in their cars. That's what people do here. They don't walk. Walking is for people who don't own a car. Or something you do on a trail or when you go shopping. That's when you walk. Okay. We find something new to do. Or find some streets that actually do have sidewalks. Here's one. Okay, this one has no sidewalks for the most part, but there's a little stretch here that does have. It ends. It looks like it ends here. Bye bye. Sidewalk. And then here's another no exit. Oops. Okay, let's upload this. See, I got this same warning again. Oh hi BJazz. I didn't expect any live viewers on a Sunday morning, but yeah, that filter dialog. I learned about that pretty late in my mapping game. I think about a year ago I figured out how that could be useful. Because since I do a lot of land use mapping as well, you have to kind of switch between large scale mapping and small scale mapping, and that it helps a lot to de-emphasize some of the mapping. What I often do just for speed is filter out the buildings in areas where they have a lot. So here's an example of that. Let's see. I'll just download a area with lots of buildings. Like here. And then I can do, oops, let me cut this out of the way. Oh, I can't do that now. It's a modal. Okay, there we go. Let's try again. Filter. Plus building equals star. And then there they go. So they're still visible. You can see them if I turn off the aerials. So you can still see them. But often with buildings, because they're sort of separate from everything else, I just hide them all together. So you click both these checkboxes, and then you can invert you can invert the filter too really easily. So if you want to all of a sudden see only the buildings, you can do that with that rightmost checkbox. Oh, I missed your other comment. Now, of course, I don't know which which passing lane you meant there. Okay, let's see. Is it here maybe? Anyway, then we continue. Okay, I'll do a couple more, and then maybe I'll find something else to do. So here's one that is actually pretty poorly. This is sort of the original Tiger geometry that is sometimes pretty accurate, but often it's just kind of rough. So I end up adding some nodes. Sometimes what I'll do also is I'll add the Tiger overlay to see if their names are still the same. I mean, here in urban environment, the names don't tend to change very much, of course. So it's just another check you can do. Turn that off here. Okay, so these, pop this out again. Any sidewalks here? None that I can see. Make this a little bit neater. Sometimes I make little noises while I while I map. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. I think it's time to call it a morning. After that, because it's a pretty nice day and I wanna do some outdoor stuff. Sidewalk, no. Okay, upload this. All right. I think I'm gonna leave it at this for right now. Let me know if you want a specific topic that you want me to stream about some next time. I'll try and be a little bit more regular. No promises, but this is kind of fun to do, especially when there's actually people watching, like BJazz right there. Thanks, I appreciate it. But I'll post the recordings somewhere too. I am recording them in parallel and posting them. I've been posting them on YouTube before just because it's convenient. And they have they let you upload infinite amounts of stuff, but I can upload them on archive.org too, which I've done in the past. It's a little bit slower, but it ends up working as well. All right, well, that's it. You saw the bulge. Wait, where is it now? Oh, here. You mean these? This should be a passing lane. Yeah, maybe it is, huh? There's a lot of these. I never really know what to do with this. Some people do it like this, where they add a turning circle, which is not really what it is. It's not really a turning circle, but then I kind of just don't have an opinion about it, so I tend to just kind of leave these alone and say, okay, well, if that's what people prefer to do, then power to them. I can't have an opinion about everything. So yeah, this was fun. I hope to do it again soon. And yeah, well, if they seem wrong to you, then Be my guest. I don't know. I mean, you could do like a passing lane, I guess. You'd have to split here, and I could try do this. Split it there, and then how do you map a passing lane anyway? I don't have my lanes plugin, I guess, in here. Let's see. Okay, sorry guys. Now I want to figure this out. This is a fairly new JAWSM installation because I haven't had this computer for very long, so I don't have all my favorite plugins. I do have the turn lanes thing. Maybe it's assigned to a different key. Shift Alt 2. There it is. Okay. A passing lane, huh? Let me pull up the wiki. Passing place. Oh, I can just tag it as a node then. Okay, let's forget about this. I'm gonna undo these splits, then passing place. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I didn't know about that one. So now I want to retag all these turn circles to passing places. I agree with you. This is better. So now, of course, I want to sort of query OSM for all the highway equals turning circle, but then I'll only have the ones that that have two roads leading to them. Okay, so I'm gonna extend this for another few minutes. I'm gonna add all these to my to-do list now that they're selected. Break that out. Just gonna check them all. It's not that much work. Okay, here's one. This is an actual turning circle. This two. This two. No. This two. No, most of these are real. Oh, this is another one. Because this is a relatively efficient way to go about this. Okay, I've corrected a few. Yes, right square bracket that moves through your to-do list. Correct. I have to use that a lot, in fact. That's a good tip. Changing turning circles to passing places where relevant. Okay. Well, so we both learned something new this morning. That's great. Thanks again for watching, and have a great rest of your day, and hope to see you soon. Thanks again, BJazz, for joining, and see you next time. Bye.